That's good.
And then I was thinking that we didn't address competition at all in this, because some people are just very competitive. And I guess that goes back to objective then. What is your objective? To win this argument? To win this conversation? Or really do you want something? Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that are very competitive and they want the last word and, you know, so.
If conflict becomes...
Where's the microphone?
If conflict becomes a game, you don't get anywhere.
Right.
So in that conflict, there got to be some shocking truth.
Right. So, and we are dealing with a lot, and we are developing. We are asking ourselves to develop the inside, because we can resolve conflict. But are we peacemaking? There's a huge difference. You can do conflict resolution without relationship. You can do conflict resolution with some of these exercises, techniques, and you begin to help people have relationship. And they can say, no, I won't have a relationship, but I will do the things you ask me to do because I have to. So we are developing ourselves as counselors because we are a relational organization, and we are contributing to peace inside of ourselves, other people, the world. So that we have to go into some of these things that we've been talking about. And we can use the techniques that we'll, if you go to a workshop, or we have a workshop here on negotiating, and you can do that, and if you bring them into, will I go to this process, to the cross with the people, or not? Because we can do it either way and have some success. We can get our mustard in the spirit or out of the spirit. Somehow I think you'll get your mustard in the spirit, Susan.
You know, there was another piece of conflict that was, two things I would just wanted to add was, most of the time things boil down to respect. You know, they felt a lack of respect, and I see that all the time in relationships. The other piece that was pretty powerful that we added in was that this is an agreement made between the people at the table, and it's nobody else's business. And how many times conflicts are maintained through other family members or friends, and part of the agreements are, you just don't talk to anybody else. And we role play it. What are you going to say when somebody says, it's been resolved, we're working on this, it's not open for discussion. So, and that's part of that respect piece as well, and not talking to your friends about it.
Good. Where did that go? Okay. So, let's see.
What Rick is talking about is mediation. And, when you have, as a mediator, you have two parties in front of you. And so, as a counselor, sometimes you don't have that. But ironically, I think what you're trying to do is mediate between them and what their problems, concerns, conflicts are. And you may not always have the benefit of formal mediation principles, but I think you can adapt them to it. I think that's point.
That's a good point.
I had a question too,
Mhm.
or something that I felt like probably is important in the conflict resolution, and that would be, how committed are they to resolving the conflict?
Mhm. Probably goes under the line where we said, why am I in this? What's my motivation?
I think it'd be really helpful as counselors to have a group of questions regarding conflict resolution to have on hand. A group of questions, because these are such good questions. They're so thoughtful for people. Even just to listen to that question and consider, what am I doing and why, where am I going and stuff. Very thoughtful questions.
How about if you guys take an assignment then, and everybody write down what you recall, or from your notes, and pool them next week, and then we'll get them typed up, and that'll be a counselor resource.
Yeah, great.
And maybe we'll be published. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I go on the net sometimes when I'm preparing for class, and I kind of like this. This is Wikipedia, is that what it's called? And they talk about culture-based conflict resolution. In Canada and the United States, successful conflict resolution usually involves fostering communication among disputants, problem solving, and drafting agreements that meet their underlying needs. In these situations, conflict resolvers often talk about finding the win-win solution or a mutually satisfying scenario for everyone involved. In non-Western cultural contexts, such as Afghanistan, Vietnam, and China, it is also important to find win-win solutions. However, getting there can be very different. In these contexts, direct communications between disputants that explicitly addresses the issues at stake in the conflict can be perceived as very rude, making the conflict worse and delaying resolution. Rather, it can make sense to involve religious, tribal, or community leaders, communicate difficult truths indirectly through a third party, and make suggestions through stories.